Hello everyone and welcome to Artmaster Studio TV. Today I'm going to be painting Ursarker Creed from the Imperial Guard 40k army. I'm going to start off with the eyes using Vallejo Off-White and I believe it's a 3-0 brush. No, a 4-0 brush. This is a Red Sable Kalinsky. Just getting a tiny bit of paint right on the end and 2 splodges either side, leaving room for the pupil. You can be as messy as you like because we're going to tidy them up in just a second. Try and get them about level. The more symmetrical the eyes, the better the miniature will look. Now moving on, I'm going to give him dark brown eyes. So this will be in Vallejo Burnt Umber. Let's just get the tiniest little bit out. This will be just for the pupils. Okay, and when you're happy with that, then you can take your black and tidy up the outside of the eyes to get the general shape. Okay, and when you're happy with that, you can move on to the next step, which will be undercoating the flesh. And for this, I'm going to use Panzer Ace's Vallejo Shadows Flesh. Swapping over to a 3-0 brush, slightly bigger. If you can see between the fingers on the hands, then you can leave black, just a very thin amount of black in between the fingers, just to give some extra shadow and definition between each individual finger. Now paint all over the face, take time around the eyes. Paint over the lips. These can be painted later on in a nice pinky colour or a dark red. Whatever complements the skin tone you're going for. Try and get some paint as close as you can to the actual eyes, but not actually going over the white of the eyes. The closer you can get, the better, really. But a small amount of black left around them will give them definition and make them stand out more. But you don't want them to stand out too much. So it's all about getting the balance right. Okay, so I'm satisfied with that. And we can move on to highlighting the flesh. My paint's drying fairly quickly as I'm under 2 great big lamps. but I would advise ensuring all paint is dry before moving on to highlighting. Switching back to my 4-0 brush, and I'm using Panzer Ace's Vallejo Flesh base. I'm painting this all over the flesh that I've just undercoated, but I'm leaving the undercoat showing in the creases of the skin, anywhere where there's muscle definition, in between the fingers and around the edges. But this will probably cover a good 90% of the flesh, maybe even a little bit more. Got a nice scar on this face, so we'll put a highlight on that and bring it all the way down. But as I say, don't leave too much of the undercoat showing. The real highlights will come in the next couple of layers. You just want to really pick out the major creases in this particular part. You really want to take your time when doing the face. This is the part of the model that most people are drawn to. It's the first thing people will look straight at when you show them your model. So you really want it to look quite special, especially on a character figure like this one. You notice I've left the bottom lip. That's because I'm going to paint that in afterwards, after the face has been fully highlighted. Okay, so that's about it for the first highlight, and then we'll move on to the next highlight in part 2.